Well, Jeff, let's jump back to what you were talking about before about pre-treating. And for our session 2, we're going to talk about pre-treating and how critical it is. You mentioned it, how important it is. So what is pre-treat? Now, pre-treat is a product that, and anytime you print with white ink, you must pre-treat the shirt first. With a white shirt where you have no white underbase, you can pre-treat or you cannot pre-treat. It's your choice. It's really a matter of personal preference from that end. But if you're printing white ink, you must pre-treat that shirt first, because the ink will absorb down into the garment and just disappear. So what is pre-treat? There's certainly some binders in there, but here's the secret ingredient. Everybody get close to your microphone or close to your speaker. Here's the secret ingredient in pre-treat. It's salt water. Now let's stop and think about it for a couple of minutes. Why salt water? Because I'm going to have a dry layer of salt, just a fine layer of salt on that shirt. I'm going to print a water-based ink on it. What's going to happen with the water in that water-based ink when it's on a layer of salt? That salt's going to try to pull that water out of the ink, right? And that's how we can get water-based ink to sit up on top of the shirt for us to print the white underbase, print the color, and then cure it. That's how we can do it, by drawing that salt or drawing that water out of that ink from the bottom side. Screen printers do this already. They print a white underbase, they flash it to give a base to print on, then they come back and print color. Same process. We're just drying it, we're curing it from the bottom up. And proper pre-treating, Jeff, we're going to talk about this a little bit. We get people who say, well, what about that box, that DTG box?
Right.
If that shirt is stiff in that square around the image, that's too much pre-treat. And let me just give you a little tip. Almost everybody uses too much pre-treat. Wouldn't you agree, Jeff?
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the method that you're using. And I still have people that ask me about some of these other methods that aren't so good. In fact, one of them is the roll-on method. You can go online and you can Google the best way to pre-treat a shirt for direct-to-garment printing, and this will pop up. And the roll-on method is filling a paint tray with the pre-treat solution, and then getting a roller brush and getting that all over your roller, and then spreading that on the shirt. Now, I go back about 12, 13 years thinking back in this industry. I was selling direct-to-garment printers for another company. And
that makes you an industry veteran, you know. 13 years.
and that was the method that they recommended. And we were actually doing that at trade shows in our booth. And I just remember thinking, this sucks. I'm making a huge mess. It's getting all over. I'm wasting a ton. As I roll it on the shirt's getting all bunched up, and it was inconsistent. And we'd print something and there'd be just a little spot that didn't get pre-treat on it. So the roll-on method is not very good, and we highly don't recommend it.
And there's still companies that tell you that's the way to pre-treat shirts.
Yeah.
It's not.
And another way is to spray it on with a Power Wagner sprayer. Now, this method is much better than the roll-on method. And I would recommend this over the roll-on any day. And we have a lot of clients that actually start out this way, because you can get a Power Wagner sprayer that's not too expensive for like 90 bucks. There's different prices out there. And you create a little cardboard booth spray area. You're going to want to do this in a garage somewhere not near your printer. You're going to hang that shirt up in that spray booth, and you're going to spray it. Now, the issues with this is that there's going to be misting. As you spray that, you don't want to breathe it. So we all have masks now, so that's okay, right? But you have to do that in a different room so that misting doesn't get into your printer. The other issue is that the amount of pre-treat that hits that shirt is all dependent upon how fast your hand is moving back and forth across that shirt. And in the morning, when you're feeling strong and energetic and you just had your first 3 cups of coffee, boom, 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 you're done, right? Maybe you put too little on. Later in the day, you're getting a little tired. It's after lunch, you're going into your food coma. And now you're moving slower, and there's a lot more pre-treat hitting that shirt. So that spray-on method, you can get good at it. It takes a lot of practice. But in the end, it's a lot of work and you'll hate it. And within 3 months, you're going to be calling us for a pre-treat machine.
And Jeff, the thing that, you know, people say, well, what difference does it make if there's too much or too little? Besides it being stiff on the shirt, you'll see that between prints. If you have a little more on this shirt and a little less on that one, you'll see a difference in the print.
Yeah, you'll see that difference. And actually, if you have too much pre-treat on there, your print can wash out. It won't last as long. So having the right amount is critical, not too little, not too much. And that's why a pre-treat machine is ideal, because you can set up a pre-treat machine to put down the right amount. And there are good pre-treat machines out there, and there are not so good pre-treat machines out there. And one that I get asked about every so often is an open pre-treat machine. So maybe you've seen this at trade shows or online. It's there's a bed with an arm across the top, and then you can just lay the shirt in it and it sprays across. I guess the appeal is that you're not opening up a box and laying a shirt in and closing. You're just laying that shirt on top and hit go and it sprays it. The issues you have with that is that misting again. It's getting out there in the open, right? With a box where it's fully contained, you don't have that issue, and you can put that pre-treat machine right next to your printer, a lot like what we have going on back here. Like, you can lean the right way. So there are a lot of different pre-treat machines out there. Obviously, we sell one, and some things you want to look for are is the spray area. You know, am I going to be able to pre-treat the entire 16 by 20 inches? There are some pre-treat machines out there that don't cover the full print capability of the printer. So
Exactly.
look for. There's another one where they have multiple spray nozzles. Terry, you're familiar with those?
Well, the problem with that is, of course, somebody goes, well, I just want to spray up here in the left corner, and that machine will allow me to do that. The problem with any of those is that you have to overlap the spray, and therefore they're going to be thick areas and thin areas of pre-treat, and you'll see it in the print. So, you know, that's why we went to a single nozzle just for that purpose. And Jeff, you know, from our perspective, we feel that there are two acceptable methods: an automatic pre-treat machine, preferably fully enclosed pre-treat machine, and a handheld paint sprayer like a Wagner sprayer, dual purpose sprayer. And anything other than that, you know, the pump spray bottles and all those other types of pre-treating are just not going to give you an acceptable result.
Yeah, and you know, we're not going to go into the details of ours right now. We're running a little short on time. So if you're interested in one of these, you can call us and we can give you all the details about what we offer. Yeah, that's pre-treating in a nutshell.